Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday with me, Ryan, aka Sifu Messiah. This is a weekly show which covers everything from the world of Star Citizen over the past week. Links can be found in the description for anything we discussed during the show, so let's get on with it. So this week we have the usual 10 for the chairman and around the verse. There is a new community video thanks to Disco Lando. Plus we give away the Aurora MR and your chance to win the Aurora LN. So kicking off as usual with 10 for the chairman. Now I think I've again included all the questions, some very relevant questions. Now the first question was, will we be able to lock certain hangar doors and put coded passwords on them? And Chris Roberts says yes, definitely there will be a full security system with the doors. He says they shouldn't be available for the very first part of the social module, but they will be down the line. He says if someone boards your ship, you can put it on lockdown, and then it'll sort of, it'll open up a mini hacking game for encrypting or decoding this door to try and enter it. You can put your ship into an emergency state with red flashing lights and klaxons, and we do actually hear a little bit more in around the verse about doors, and the next design post, I'll spoil it now, is about doors. So that's what we'll be checking out. Hopefully it will be out in time for Star Citizen Sunday. So the next question is, will friends be able to hear our jukebox playing in our hangar if they come round to visit? And Chris Roberts says actually currently it just plays the songs off your hard drive, so no at the moment, but they will look into it. He says it's just one of these things that no one has thought of, which makes complete sense, so they'll check on it. It should be just a trivial thing, so hopefully you can start hearing Avenged Sevenfold blasting out of my my hangar, although I can't really because I'll be done on YouTube. Never mind. Next question, will background radiation interfere with ship components? So these are from your space anomalies. Will it affect your radar and so forth? And later on in Squadron 42, you will see things affecting your scanner and radar. He did say that one part of it was where the scanners don't have as much range as you should have because of, I think he said a coil, but I couldn't be sure. But yeah, so I think there will be some form of effect with things like solar flares and all this sort of jazz from space. So yeah, I would have thought it sounds like it will. So the next question is there a difference between military and civilian hardware, like weaponry, etc.? And will it be harder to obtain? The answer is yes. Military and civilian equipment will be completely different. The military will generally be up to a better standard as the civilian variants. They'll be more rugged with, I expect, better attachments and so forth. And they will be harder to obtain. But also he says they may cause problems in some areas. He didn't go into specify what, but he says it's still to be fleshed out. So I expect there will be a difference. Whether or not civilians can get their hands on it just as and when, who knows? So the next question is, will there be a space waste management career? So like a bin man in space, I believe. And Chris said he's not really considered it yet. Obviously with the reclaimer, that is salvage in a sense. It's sort of waste management, and he says that's probably the closest thing they'll have so far. He says there will be sort of big hauling missions with large containers, especially things like the Hull C, where you can sort of bulk haul goods, and maybe there will be a contract to haul lots of garbage from one system to the next. But at the moment, it's not a full-time role like a proper career like mining will be. But you don't know in the future, he said. He said you may see it in the future. They've got a million and one things to do, basically. So the question after that was, will ships have weapon racks to switch out weapons on the fly? Now, this question didn't really specify whether it is internal weapons or external ship hardpoint weapons. So Chris answered both, and he says internally there will be weapon lockers, and we've seen I think last week I showed you some Cutlass images of weapon racks, and again you'll need to be able, you have enough rank to be cleared to unlock these racks, or you may be able to hack the lock on these racks and take the weapons if you are pirates or boarding, or if you are just trying to take over the ship of, befriend a captain maybe. But he did say that the idea of swapping out components like hardware components on your ship as like weapon placements and so forth, he said it's not likely to happen other than maybe swapping out different missile variants. But yeah, you can't be flying around and think, I don't want this Bulldog anymore, this Bulldog repeater, I want something else. It's not likely to happen like that. So the question after that was, can we put the SIM-Pod on larger ships? Now the SIM-Pod is this Arena Commander gateway. It is the sort of arcade game seat that you sit in and then you are playing Arena Commander. And he said it's a good question. Maybe on the Bengal carrier we'll see 2 to 3 little SIM-Pods so you can practice your skills. But he says it won't make sense really on the Connie because it's too small on the Constellation. But things like maybe the 890 jump, you might see it. He says depends on the ship and I suppose time whether we see it quickly or not. But yeah, it depends on the size of the ship. So smaller ships, I don't know, maybe anything bigger than a Retaliator perhaps. We shall see. So the question after that was, will animals have full health systems like humans, and will there be vets like we have medics in the game? And he says animals will have a full health like the human. It'll have the same sort of basis of, you know, it can get damaged, it can get hurt, it can get killed, but he said it's not likely to have vets and not likely to have bionic legs and so forth for animals. Although you never know, do you? He says maybe vets later on, but can you imagine a dog walking around with 4 metal legs? It would just be like, I'll just call it clunky. Come on. Anyway, next question is, will ballistics be realistic? Now, this is my favourite question. Very important to me, to myself in games. This is why I stopped playing games like Call of Duty and played more of Battlefield, and then obviously moved over to Arma once I got myself a PC, because I really like the realistic modelling of ballistics. I feel it is more realistic. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed playing COD and so forth, but I just got tired with it. So yes, he says it'll have a full physical modelling. Obviously, think of Arma, so the way Arma works, it'll be the same. So the FPS is going to be like Arma in itself. He said it's not going to be like this weapon does this much damage. It'll be more like the velocity, the mass, and the caliber, etc. will affect the damage done to the person taking the damage. It's very much like real life. He says multiple weapons can fire the same ammo, but each weapon, depending on its velocity, will have different effects, which is very, very cool. He says also gravity will have an effect, and even things like wind, etc. will all realistically model the velocity and so forth of the bullet, of the ballistic. So all forces will affect the projectiles, and he says this is fully modelled in the CryEngine 3. He said it's all in there. So yes, we will see proper ballistics, and it's excellent because it means more training, and I just love being in the game anyway, so all good news. So the last question is, will the total amount of people in the ships, or being able to go into ships, be restricted? And Chris says that, he said he expects to see people trying to cram as many people into one ship, just like the clown car you see where all these clowns get into one car. He says that they're not going to limit it any more than the server can handle, and obviously they'll save slots for friends, enemies, people of interest, etc. They haven't really figured it out yet, so it won't be restricted off the bat, so we can see what. So he says you can see what happens. So we'll give the option to do it, and if things go wrong, then obviously they'll start limiting. But he did say that CO2 levels in the ship will play an effect in itself because the game is being set realistically. So he said we'll see what happens. The game may even restrict itself in a realistic way. So very cool. Anyway, that was 10 for the chairman. Tell me your thoughts on any of the questions. I would love to hear them. So, over to Sandy and Ben for Around the Verse. Now, the first thing they pointed out was that the minigame for the Orion should be out today, which today would be Thursday, but obviously by Sunday, when you're hearing this, it'll already be out. There is also going to be some additional Orion art, which you shall be seeing during this episode of Star Citizen Sunday, because that comes out today. Now, the last stress test they had for Arena Commander, which the previous one, no one could get online, even myself and my friend Journey, we could not get online either. They rearranged it for last Monday. Unfortunately, I was busy because it started at 9 o'clock, but apparently some people got in, some didn't. Sandy never managed to get in, so they're still working on that, and they're going to do another one sometime soon. So, news from Around the Verse, starting with CIG Santa Monica. The REC credits, or the rental equipment credits, are being hooked up in the game. They are just doing internal tweaks at the moment and getting it ready for 1.1. So also, the Hull A to E ship series are coming up. They're a line of freighters from the supertanker to another type of transport ship, which is just a bit bigger than the Aurora, they say. And also this will play in with the Cargo Olympics, which sounds like it may be another e-sport. So yeah, the Hull series are all freighters. Very exciting. Again, one of my main roles, I think, will be shipping and carrying freight from system to system. The new damage tech is coming online, and this is going to be ready for the Gladius and the Retaliator, which they did mention that the Retaliator will be ready for 1.1, and unfortunately Travis Day was cut off as he was saying something about the Gladius being flight ready, but I believe that would have meant 1.1 as well, so fingers crossed for that. So over to Foundry 42. There is going to be a design document coming out soon about doors. Yes, doors, and I'm actually very excited for this document. I never thought I'd be excited to hear about doors, but everything from security to lockdowns to things getting in the way of doors, and it's all going to be, basically, he says, they're all automatic doors, and depending on your level of security, or your security pass level, you will be able to get through so many and not through others. So it's going to be a full security network on a ship. So if you can imagine yourself on a ship as a captain, you will have access to every door, whereas a crewman would only have maybe to the specific area where he is needed, so maybe not engineering or to the bridge. And then obviously visitors will have very limited access to only the visitors area, and hostiles will naturally have no access to any area. So this sounds really cool when you think about it. Also, things like lockdown. If there's a hull breach or a fire, you can hit the lockdown button, or it will be automatic. It will force and lock down everything and everyone out, and you will get damaged if they say you'll be pushed out the way, but you're likely to get damaged as well if they implement it, if you get in the way of a door as it's locking down. So you're not just going to be blindly running to the door hoping to slide underneath like Indiana Jones. You may actually get your leg caught or God knows what else. There is going to be a manual override unit on the doors as well. This is cool. So if you are in a room or the engineering area, a fire breaks out and everyone is locked down in their areas, or they've locked down just the engineering place, if you manage to put that fire out, or maybe, you know, you can escape without allowing the fire to spread, then you can actually manually override the door. I think the way he explained it was like a lever next to the door, which is a bit like Alien Isolation, where you've got to access the panel. It sounds very cool. Also, they are talking about the sound, so they have been working on the audio for the mobiGlas prototype, and they want Microtech, who create the mobiGlas, to have its sort of identity of its own. So he did a big explanation about the process of which he goes to find, or they go to find the audio for each and every situation of, you know, that's needed. And if you are interested, please check out that section. Luckily now, Around the Verse do actually put times in on their own videos to say what happens where. So if you are interested, you could probably find it that way. So over to Ilphonic. Now they are mainly getting ready for PAX, and obviously they're hunkering down now, trying to get everything sorted for that. They did say that the controller is supported for FPS, which if you use a controller you will be very happy to know, but as you can expect, compared to a mouse and keyboard with a first-person game, it will not be as good or as easy with a controller. Yes, the character may be easier to move around, but the aiming will always be precision-based. So with a mouse you will be better at it, and if it means either you dying or staying alive, I suggest getting used to using a mouse and keyboard. Honestly, it took me a good few months, but it's totally worth it. Anyway, moving on. They're also getting the sniper rifle ready, which will be available shortly after PAX. Now, they did say that this is an energy sniper rifle, not a ballistic one that they've got coming soon. Obviously, we will see ballistic sniper rifles, but this first one we'll get to play with is the energy-based one. So, after that we went over to Austin, the CIG offices in Austin, Texas, and they are bringing the FPS characters up to speed ready for PAX, which seems to be the biggest thing at the moment. Everyone's getting ready for PAX. It's happening, I think, next week, so it's understandable. They're doing concept work on the white-collar people of Terra, which are like your business class people. They're working on the clothing sets for Terra and others as well, but that's, I think, the Terra white-collar clothing sets are the main ones so far, or the current ones. So there was a little part about the mining concepts and how the UI and the HUD for players is still early concept and subject to change. Now, we saw some screens last week. I'll show a couple now so we know what we're talking about. These are the sort of UI panels that, as a miner, you will see, and you have to use those to gauge what you need to do, whether you need to put more energy in or take energy out, etc. Now, he did say that the idea is that there's going to be a lot of skill, well, some skill surrounding mining, and the technical readouts that we see, these panels, they will be easy to understand at a glance, but it says you'll need to balance all the readouts. Whatever he means there, I don't know, but it sounds like it needs to be tweaked. You know, while you're doing it, you need to make sure that each and every panel is reading at a balanced rate, so you're not giving too much energy, not putting too little in, which explains the skill base. You know, it does take a lot of effort. I expect it'll take some effort to do this, but you should be able to tell what's going on at a glance. So anyway, over to Bug Smashers. So it's about the Avenger this time, and it's to do with the back door. If you have the back door open and then you go and sit in the cockpit, it will automatically close, which is good. But he says when you get back out again and go to open the door, you no longer can. So the icon is there. When you press it, the door remains closed and the icon disappears. So it's all about him solving that problem. So if you're interested, check that out. It's good to have Bug Smashers back. So the most valuable post this week is Years 100. Now this is a lovely chap who I asked if I could use his videos to show you all, and he said sure, there's no problem with it. Head over to his YouTube channel. I've got a link in the description. Give this guy some love because he is doing some really good efforts with this. The video they showed was the fighter pilot, which if you haven't seen it, I'll play it. It's probably playing now, fingers crossed. But there is another one he's done to do with smugglers, so I'll play that one afterwards. I'm sure he won't mind. Again, go over to his channel, subscribe, and give him some love for it. So once we saw the MVP, there was a little couple of minute discussion about the balancing of ships' weapons, and if you don't know, pretty much everything within the world of Star Citizen is subject to change, so nothing is final until they say so. So he did mention that the signature guns for the Avenger and the 300 series, which for the Avenger it's the Tiger Strike at the front of the cockpit, well, on the nose of the ship, they were all very underpowered, people have been saying, so they are tweaking all these weapons, making sure that it's fun to play with them and they are not completely useless. And he says that 1.1 will have a lot of weapon updates and balancing, hopefully the Avenger and the 300 series, because he says people are just reluctant to use them with the Tiger Strike not being as powerful as it really should be. So please relax, don't worry if you've got yourself an Avenger or a 300, your weapons will become useful again. So after that there was a little part of a ship process discussion. Now this is how the ships come to be what they are, and basically a few people sit in the room and discuss what ships are needed where, and they talk about how the Orion came to fruition and what was needed for it and how they came, you know, over the obstacles of how to create this ship. Now they did say that the whole series is done. They've had that ship discussion. They've also had the Starliner discussion and the Endeavour discussion, which I know Robert will be happy about because he really wants that medical ship. Now the next one they have to talk about and make sure that, you know, flesh out in there on paper basically is the Reliant, which is the third starter ship. So all these are pretty much their design documents or the ideas are down, they know what they're doing with them. It's just a matter of getting them into concept and getting them out to us. So hopefully we'll see a lot of ships coming soon. So the sneak peek, and it is the first concept for the Cutlass modularity system. Now obviously the guys in UK have taken the Cutlass away and they are reassessing it and getting it ready for this modularity idea that they're going to bring in, where you can swap out internal parts for your desire. So you can see all these different scenes. I'll probably play it again because that way you won't miss it, but very, very cool. And to finish with, they were saying the Cutlass is free to fly for everyone. So if you have ever wanted to fly the Cutlass, get into Arena Commander. It will be ready for you now. You can go into Arena Commander and pick up the Cutlass just to play around with. I expect you'll have a week, so report back what you think. They also mentioned the Cutlass Blue is available for buying again. It is now on sale again, so if you are interested in that, take a look. But obviously we don't know what the new Cutlasses look like, so unfortunately it won't really make people dive in and buy it. Also the Tarantula is available for purchase. This is the weapon, I actually thought it was already available for purchase. Maybe they took it down again. I'm sure we picked up some. Anyway, Arena Commander 1.1 is coming soon. Now they did say they can't mention when, but Ben Lesnick did kind of say that they're all pushing this next couple of weeks to get it ready, so I assume a couple of weeks will generally be the timescale until we can see 1.1. I don't know, I'm only guessworking here, but that's the idea I got. And to finish with is the Empire Report, which they usually start with, but here it is.
Coming up on the Empire Report, should ships go faster? Find out why speed demons are risking their lives to push the limits and set the new all-time record.
Could your flight suit be killing you? A new study shows a startling connection between pressurized clothing and ghost limb syndrome.
The Imperator's new hairstyle, ahead of its time or a cut too far? Style expert Nisko Hobbins weighs in.
All that and more on the next Empire Report at 2200 SET.
So, also in the verse of Star Citizen, we met with the Austin art team consisting of Billy Lord, Megan Cheever and David Jennison. There was the first community roundup video by Disco Lando called The Wonderful World of Star Citizen, and it included videos, podcasts, Twitches and artwork strictly from the community, which is brilliant to see. Again, links are below in the description if you want to watch that or see who was included. There was a new Congress Now post, which I am afraid I am still to read, so it remains a mystery as to its contents. There was another fan spotlight this week focusing on fan music. Again, links are in the description if you want to check that out. There was a concept vault post of the RSI Orion showing us 31 awesome concept pictures of the Orion itself. Check it out, definitely worth a look. There was another post which is called the Work in Progress relating to the Gladiator, and it features again 32 pictures I think this time, showcasing its creation. So also relating to the RSI Orion was the release of the mini game. Now this gives you like an insight into how we can expect the process of mining may work, in a sense. Not obviously we've heard the physical aspect to it, this is more the routines of what's going to happen. You have to scan the area to keep check that there's no danger around while surveying asteroids for potential drilling areas. Once you find them, you need to drill, then you prospect and send in the drones to gather up the materials to retrieve them for your sled so you can harvest these minerals and stick them in your refinery. Plus then you're just selling on the market and repaying your debt. Not to mention, once you've earned enough cash, you can upgrade equipment, buy more drones, or, you know, it's really fun. Definitely worth having a play on. Make sure you sign in to your account before you play, as it saves your progress. Again, links are in the description if you want to play. I hopefully will show you a little snippet of me playing it. Definitely a fun game to play if you are wanting to use the Orion. Now, the final post for the Orion was that it has been updated already. The feedback CIG got regarding the cockpit being placed on the right-hand side in a sort of asymmetrical design was not positive, as you cannot see the left-hand side. So they have moved the cockpit to a more central top side to allow better visibility, basically. I'll show you some pictures of the revised ship. Very cool. I'm glad they did it, because it was one of my concerns is, you know, someone could sneak up on the left-hand side and you would have no idea. So the final post this week was regarding the Cutlass. Everyone can fly if you've got an RSI account. You can now get into the Cutlass for a week. I think it ends on Friday. Also, the Cutlass Blue is on sale. So if you had wanted to pick one of those up, now is your chance. I really cannot wait to see what the revised Cutlass looks like, because they are going hard at work with that, and we've seen some pictures already, haven't we? Right, the time has come again to reveal this week's winner of the giveaway. As you know, you have been given a week to get your comments in telling us what your most anticipated ship is. Unfortunately, there can only be one winner, and this week the winner is Nighthawk. And he says, I am looking forward to the Freelancer Dir, go to the far reaches of the universe, probably find that unique treasure and bring it home. So congratulations, Nighthawk, you are now, or you are soon to be, the proud owner of the Aurora MR game package. Anyway, a great thanks to Robert Smith, who is providing us with all these ships, as this week we shall be giving away the Aurora LN, or the Legionnaire game package. And with this package you get the ship, obviously, the 3 months insurance on that ship, the Southland hangar, starting money of 1,000 UEC, the digital Star Citizen manual, beta access, the Squadron 42 single player digital download, and the Star Citizen digital download, which is the PU, the Persistent Universe, the main game. So to stand a chance of winning this, please be a subscriber and tell us what career or role you are most looking forward to playing once the PU hits. So you have a week to get your comments in, and the winner shall be drawn using a comment randomizer in next week's show. Good luck. Right, well, that's your lot for this week. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SuperMacBrother to hear more news and updates on Star Citizen throughout the week. I've also set up my Twitch account, which is SuperMacBrothers Ryan. Adam will be setting his up shortly. I shall endeavour to live stream sometime in the near future, and the majority of what I will live stream will be Star Citizen, which will be a great way of probably showing off the new patches and the content that's been released. Subscribe for more Star Citizen content. Show your love by hitting the like button. Comment if you've got anything to say. Share it if you can, and I shall see you in the verse. Thanks for watching.